The Memory Corridor.
Hello Assassins, my name is Gustav, also known as Gargudon on various social media pages, and today I am beyond excited to greet you all welcome to the first ever episode of the Assassin's Creed podcast, The Memory Corridor. This podcast is hosted by me, and for each episode I will have a guest who will be discussing a topic regarding Assassin's Creed with me. And for each episode there will be a different topic, but all things aside, and to get to the topic itself, today's topic is Return to North America and of Shay Cormac, as you probably already know from the thumbnail of this video.
Now, back to today's guest. Today I have my friend LazerzZ, also known as James, with me. Say hi, James.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, James is a great guy, and it's my pleasure to have him here on the first episode ever. And links to his social media pages and YouTube channel will be in the description below, should you be interested in checking that out. And it's only something I can recommend since he does make some pretty sweet AC videos. And also, just before we kick this off, tell the audience a bit about yourself. For those who might not know of you, just say a few words about what you do here in the AC community and here on YouTube.
Yeah, alright, okay. So, but primarily, I'm a YouTuber. I cover Assassin's Creed, cover, all of the news and things like that. Also give theories and thoughts, and I also co-host a podcast called The Kill Connor Club with my friend Tyler, and that is always awesome. I do some other stuff here and there in the community, but mainly my YouTube channel and the Kill Connor Club podcast.
Yeah, and that is why it's also awesome to have someone with your experience, a fellow podcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, the name is I laugh, maybe not no good intentions there and there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean the name is just a joke. People get really annoyed at the name, but
yeah, it's fun. I like the name. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. But now it is time to kick off the first ever topic discussion, and as I said before, today's topic is Return to North America and of Shay Cormac. This topic is something I always thought was really interesting, because after the end of Assassin's Creed Rogue, we haven't heard from or seen anything from Shay, and considering that Assassin's Creed 3, which is also set in North America, and 7 years after Rogue, and I can only imagine what happened in North America afterwards, I think Shay was up to something in the colonies in the late 1780s and throughout the rest of the 18th century. And I really hope we'll get a game focused on this someday, perhaps Assassin's Creed 5. Now, consider that I just said as an intro to the topic of the day, and before any discussions take place, I will give an intro/explanation first, both to explain what it's about and also explain why I chose the topic / think it's interesting. And I will do this in the beginning of every episode. So, now that the intro is out of the way, it is time to talk about this for real. And the way this is going to work is that I'm going to ask the guest a few questions regarding the topic. And another word I have for them are topic points. And then he or her is going to answer those questions, and then we'll start a conversation about it, and that way discuss the topic. And there's not necessarily a set of questions for each different episode. The amount of questions will mainly be based on how many I can think of and how big / interesting the topic is. And when I say interesting, don't get me wrong, it's not that I think the topic I chose myself is uninteresting or not, but it's not necessarily as interesting as others. And that is also a reason for me choosing this specific topic for episode 1, since it's one of, if not the most interesting I can think of. And actually the first idea I actually ever thought of for this podcast idea I came up with back in April of this year. But I'm talking too much, and now all things aside, first question I have for you, James, is what would you like to see in an Assassin's Creed story set in North America and where Shay Patrick Cormac is one of the main focuses?
Well, I mean, I did think Rogue was a really good game. Like, I think
the story was awesome.
It was. That's really true. I did enjoy Rogue. I mean, it's a short game, and it is very, very similar to Black Flag. Like, I didn't do much after I finished the story, but the story I enjoyed, and I do like Shay. And I think, like, he is one of the characters, because I did a video recently where I talked about characters that I want to see return, like, that only got one game.
I might have to watch that, but yeah, keep talking.
Yeah. And Shay is one of the characters that I think kind of does deserve a sequel. I don't know whether I talked about him in the video, but I've talked about it before in the past. And I think his story is quite important because, it intertwines with Unity, and also he's got a lot to do with the box, right? And we know that the box
that box thing.
Yeah, the box. the box. That's super important. So
Yeah.
I think because we see he's probably tracking down the box, something like that. He's been doing some stuff. Hatham asks him to go get it or something like that at the end of the road, and then obviously he goes and gets it from Charles Dorian and whatnot. So I think I would love to see what he gets up to. I'd love another game with Shay and to just explore some other parts of the world and stuff like that, because I think Shay's my probably favorite story from that kind of period of Connor and Hatham and Arno. I think I like Shay the most out of that kind of period. So
they're around the American Revolution. But yeah, it is also, Hatham and Shay, throughout Rogue, I mean, they were more or less pretty good friends, or they were really just, I guess, mentor and apprentice. But, they had a relation, and I guess after, Connor kills, spoiler alert, everyone. Yeah, after Connor kills Hatham in AC3, their Rogue has ended, 5 years ago from when that happens in AC3. So the question is really where is Shay there, when Connor kills Hatham and Charles Lee? And would Shay kind of look up to Hatham so much he would kind of avenge him? I mean, I can figure that he would be a deadly assassin, considering he is or just a deadly assassin hunter, considering he is a Templar with assassin training. So let's say Connor has established a brotherhood, but then Shay, he really just he does in Rogue, just takes them all out one by one like it's nothing. Because I feel Shay, he's also a deadly character. He's dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's definitely the thing is with Shay's story is that it's really interesting that they haven't picked it up, and I feel like they should, because it's very open. Because he could be anywhere, so they could just have another game with Shay and set it wherever the hell they want, and that's kind of cool, because he could be anywhere.
Of course. I actually thought about a specific idea for a story. It was I think it started in 1785, 2 years after the end of AC3. It's now Connor has reestablished the Brotherhood after everything, and he has connections, political connections. But then Shay, he's I want to avenge Hatham, so he really, starts cleansing the Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. And then how he would fit in, I don't know, but it could be pretty cool if Shay maybe had a son, whose name would be, I don't know, Liam or something. And then he somehow becomes an assassin and tries to gets taught by Connor and just tries to, reestablish this and eventually confront his father, even though he's struggling with that. That could be pretty cool, I guess. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that could definitely work out, something like
work.
that. But the thing is, though, it seems very, very mirroring to AC3 story, the whole assassin Templar family differences and stuff like that.
That's it. I wouldn't want a game that's really just the same as maybe AC3 or Rogue. If they decide to return to North America as a map, they would definitely have to make it the story really unique, that doesn't make it a repeat of 2 games we just saw 4 and 2 years ago. Because there are maybe some AC stories that have been kind of repetitive. Because I also feel the main Assassin's Creed stories are the ones where it's the character is driven by something personal, and that is also where Shay's son could fit really well. Because let's just take Syndicate for example. Evie and Jacob, they are really just 2 twins, just cleansing London from the Templars. There's not really anything personal involved with, let's say, Edward. He's just a young man struggling to get money, and he does that by any means necessary. And then his life changes forever as he accidentally kills an assassin. So yeah, do you have anything to add to this, or shall we skip to the next question?
No, I don't think there's too much more to say. It's kind of it's very closed with Shay. It's kind of, we can talk about it for a bit, but there's not too much there to go off of. So I guess
I wanted to say that, but yeah, I would also like to, explore Shay as an older man because because at the end of Rogue, yeah, with that little speech he's holding, he also says like, "I am an older man now," like, and we only see that for like 5 minutes. Yeah, he has some gray hair and he's maybe in his like 40s, but definitely want more of him. Like, when does he die? I'd say maybe around 1798, 99, getting killed by his son eventually. In his 60s there, and maybe just see like his skills and how he becomes this new grandmaster, and kind of explore maybe the hearted side of him, like how important is like the Templars compared to his family. That could definitely be interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's skip ahead to the next question. What parts of North America do you think we should be able to explore in this possible installment?
That is
like a good question because because we've already like seen the primary ones. It's not the best question either, but it's one of the best ones I could think of. But at the same time, there are definitely maybe some historical sites, not anything specific I would know of, but maybe something there that could play a part. I mean, we've already seen like the primary ones in AC3 and Rogue, like Boston, New York, upstate New York, stuff like that and that. And also, how do you think like the map should work in a game like this? Several locations or just one? Because throughout the Unity and Syndicate, the last few installment, we've only had one location, and it's okay, but I like the maps that have more locations.
Yeah,
kind of like C2 and Black Flag, which has like 75.
Yeah, it's better when they mix it up, because I mean I do love that, because I think with Unity and Syndicate the single map kind of works, but I think for a game set in like, especially in North America, like everything's quite, I guess there's different things that you want to visit and they're quite distant. Like, there we have Boston and New York. I guess if you revisit it, I mean, I don't know, they didn't really show us Philadelphia much, but they did say the reason they didn't include that is because it was quite boring, like a boring location, although I don't know, maybe I'd like to see it. I mean, there's not that many places they could really visit, unless they want to revisit Boston and New York, but I mean, do you really want to do that again?
I feel like New York, we've had enough New York. I mean, I wouldn't want it as a map, maybe just like a mission set there. Kind of like possibly. I think it was called the Cappadocia in Revelations. Maybe just like a sequence set there, but maybe I would like to revisit Boston. Maybe like with tuned up graphics, Xbox One, PS4. Maybe make it like larger. Maybe make it like 25% a London size map.
Yeah, I mean they could do, but it's like, the thing for me is, with like Boston and New York, that both of them to me were like identical cities with like this different kind of hue coloring over the top of it. And I mean, I don't really have any desire to revisit Boston again. Like, I think that would, I don't know, it wouldn't be like a selling point, like, oh yeah, we're going back to Boston. It kind of be more of a, okay, so we're going back to Boston. So I mean, I don't know, if there's any new areas they could visit, I guess that'd be cool. Like, I did like the way they introduced the River Valley and North Atlantic into Rogue, because that was cool.
In River Valley.
Yeah, and it's like, if there's new areas like that they could introduce, then it could work. But I don't really know where else like is there in the North America, especially in that time period for us to.
Yeah, that's it. Like, USA is newborn. Like, unless we maybe start heading to the more southern states, that could be pretty interesting. But I don't know if the southern states like Florida, it has that like maybe AC feel to it. Like, I don't think it would work. But it's a good question because we saw we had New York in AC3. I was never like really, maybe I just didn't like play it correctly, but I was never like, wow, exploring this and that. I did have the feeling of that like in Rogue. I was more exploring it, but at the same time, it was really just a new version like 20 years prior to AC3. So it's a good question, but maybe revisiting Boston, maybe making it larger could work. Just areas we haven't explored. Maybe some cities. There must be some cities in like maybe Pennsylvania or Philadelphia. And the question is just like naval warfare. Maybe they could do something that isn't like 100% like Black Flag, like where you sail with your ship, but maybe from like the Davenport homestead, which like isn't ideal. Like, that should return if we're setting it. there.
Yeah.
Maybe just tune up the graphics and make it a little larger, but it's the home of the assassins. So,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, like, have the Aquila, and then you can, with your crew, maybe sail out, and then there's maybe, like, a little naval map where you can go to this and that locations, and there are some different, like, maybe, I don't know, treasure hunt missions. That could be interesting. But no matter what, I think North America would be a good... I saw you put up a poll about that the other day on Twitter. I think North America would be an ideal place for naval warfare to return as well, because I miss that.
Yeah, I agree. Naval is a good thing. Like, I mean, I don't want it just thrown back in for the sake of it, but if there's ever a reason where it'd be like, Naval fits with this, kind of like with Black Flag, and obviously it fit with Rogue, like, if there's a reason why it would fit, then I'd love to see it back, because I did love the Naval, it's awesome. It's always a split between the Assassin's Creed community, whether they like it or whether they just completely hate it. I mean, I loved it in 4, I think 4 is such a good game, and...
It's my favorite in the series, so yeah, undoubtedly.
It's a very good game, and I'd love to see it come back in some way. Like, if they could do it differently, that'd be awesome. But
maybe take the naval system we all loved in Black Flag, and then maybe like improve it, because I feel like in AC3, it was the only reason why it was really there was to like serve story missions. And then in Black Flag, now you're a pirate, you can sail with your ship, customize it.
Yeah.
And in Rogue, it was really just a repeat of that. There wasn't like anything. Yeah, maybe a new weapon like the I think it was called the Burning Oil, which was a pretty cool weapon. But it wasn't like unique. It wasn't like a revolutionary change. And that's just the question. Like how can they bring like the things we all love in the series back in like a way that isn't going to feel repetitive?
Yeah,
and
that's difficult.
That's just a question, and yeah, it's a good question. But I think just with like ship customization as well, a way they could like make it big is like you can even like change the color of your ship. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like
the color of your sails and the ship. Yeah,
with like the naval stuff, I think honestly I've talked about this before, I think, and a bunch of people have as well, actually. It's like with the naval stuff, I think it did so well in 4. I think the only thing with 4 is that pirate stuff was holding back the assassin stuff, and the assassin stuff was holding back the pirate stuff. So I think with the naval, honestly, what they might or should just do is if Ubisoft went ahead and made a separate pirate game that was based off of those mechanics, they could really go all out and make an amazing naval experience.
Really?
And then if there's ever a way to bring that back into Assassin's Creed, maybe it would work, maybe it wouldn't, who knows, maybe they'll try it, I don't know.
Now that you mention it, is it Ubisoft that's making the Sea of Thieves game? Or is that just me?
I don't know if it's Ubisoft, but...
I think it might be. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely ways they could bring back like North American stuff, and there definitely are some areas, maybe after the war, the Revolutionary War, which were like devastated, and that could make for some pretty cool missions. Because we did, I think it was called Charlestown in sequence 6 of AC3, Bunker Hill. Like, that was a map that was only like there. And when I was like in the U.S. A few years ago, I also saw in Pennsylvania when I was there that it definitely has that like. I played at AC3 afterwards, but the buildings and stuff, it could make for a pretty cool thing, because in New York, the buildings are high. Like 4 stories, here they're only like 2. And running on those rooftops could be pretty damn awesome. So in general, maybe like not necessarily revisit cities, but like move up north and try to explore some unexplored areas there. And should it be, head to the southern states. That is definitely it. Yeah. Right. So anything to add to this, or shall we jump ahead to the third and final one?
Yeah, let's head to the next one, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is also the final question, but yeah. Okay. Do you think a game like this should be a direct sequel to Assassin's Creed 3, kind of like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was to AC2?
Well, it depends. Like, I mean, I've said before that even though I don't like Connor that much, I would still love if he got a second chance, because you can always expand on characters with sequels and give them way more development. And like, you can see from that, there's that cut speech from Assassin's Creed 3 where Connor talks about, how he knows what he has to do and everything, and like, like how he's learned from what happened with Hatham and stuff. And I think it's kind of cool that they could expand on that with a sequel of Connor. And I think the only time I'd personally want to return to the North American setting is if we got another game with Connor, because it'd make me feel like, okay, so we're going to return to this setting, but we're going to return to this character that I kind of want to see develop. I want to see if they can take him somewhere new. Like, I think that would be the ideal kind of North American game, would be another game with Connor.
Yeah, definitely, because his life, like, after AC3 is like left in the shadows. I read some articles saying that, like, in 1803 he got married. But people say that, like, even after 1783, because and also that speech I never think I've heard it. Was it like a trailer or?
They played it in a trailer, but it's in the game files. If you just search, like later on, just search up Assassin's Creed 3 Epilogue Connor speech, and it's amazing. They cut it from the game. I don't know why. It's still in the Forsaken novel. Like, they left it in the end of that novel, but it was meant to be in the game, but it's not in the game anymore. But it's really really good speech.
Yeah, all right, I'll look that up later. But anyway, as it was back to what I was saying, because after the epilogue, Connor, he takes all the paintings of the Templars, throws it in the cabin, and takes the axe out. Everything, like, the war is over, we won, but yet, I am still traumatized by all the events in my life. And also with the music and everything, like, it looks like after that, Connor, he moved on. Like, it may be I have lost the people I love and everything. I even had to kill my own bloody father. But I still, I have something to live for, the assassins. And I wouldn't, like, I would be surprised if he was just, like, depressed and sad for the rest of his life. Because that's it. Because I saw some people, like, I don't remember when or where it was, but, like, people saying, probably, yeah, even after AC3, Connor lived a sad life and everything. But that just, wouldn't really add up with why did he get married. So, yeah, definitely, like, explore Connor. Like, I wouldn't want to play as him, necessarily. But I would maybe see him, like, as a major character, as I said earlier, maybe the apprentice or the mentor to the assassin you're playing as. He maybe just starts off as a young boy from Boston, and then he seeks out Connor and he gets trained and eventually maybe replaces Connor's role.
That could be interesting.
And also just like the direct sequel thing. It wouldn't work, I think, because that is kind of a thing I feel like Ubisoft does on and off with their games. It's like, even though the ending is like just major character, like maybe even the character you play as die there, yet like after the end credits you can still play, and it's cool and everything. And it's definitely what makes it an open world game. At the same time, it is kind of like a little blah, if you know what I mean. Like continuity. That may just be nitpicking, but still, I mean, I don't think it would work. I mean, I'd like it to see, like, maybe start 2 years after, like 1785, as I also said earlier, and then pick up the pace from there. But it definitely worked with Brotherhood, though. Like, picking up directly where AC2 left. So yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, with Connor, I think the thing is, it's like, I don't think Connor was given enough development at the very end of 3. It's like it's like the development was meant to happen and kind of nothing happened, and it was like, is there a sequel to kind of develop him more? Like, are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the main game I want. The two main ones would be Connor or Arno. Those are the two characters that I'd love to see development for.
And that's also it. Yeah. I actually remember I thought about that as well. Like, Arno could, like, appear in this game. I don't know if it would be like a visit to America or something, or it's like an errand for helping Connor. But we could definitely see Arno in there, and maybe even like tune things up 100%. Maybe even like get a Fry in there. Maybe like even Jacob great grandfather or something.
Yeah, I mean the
Thomas
whole
Fry or something.
when Unity was coming out, we had actually, it's how my Kill Chronicle podcast's name actually came about, was that when Unity was coming out, we talked about, oh, what if Connor appears in this game, because it was around the same time period, and it was like, what if Connor tries to kill Elise and Arno tries to stop him, ends up killing Connor, and then it just became a thing.
And then maybe make like a civil war thing.
Yeah, kind of like a clash between two sets of assassins kind of thing.
Yeah, like they stand for the same thing, but that could be pretty cool. Yeah, I think there was something I wanted to say, but I kind of forgot. Whatever. But but that pretty much sums it up for all the questions and topic points I have for today. And do you have anything you would like to say or ask, James, before we wrap this up?
Actually, I do. I want to ask, right?
Yeah.
What, like, since I do the Kill Connor Club, I wanted to ask, what is your opinion on Connor as a whole?
Connor as a character?
Yeah.
I'd say he's a great character. Like, he's not like an underpinned character. Like, he definitely has the necessary development. And he is definitely on maybe like my top 3 favorite assassins list, maybe on number 3 spot or something. And I definitely do like, how throughout his entire life, really, he has been like traumatized with the loss of his mother and the loss of his village. And he just comes from like a strange background, like Native American mother and British father, who's like your arch enemy. And then suddenly this hologram tells you to seek this old man out and become an assassin. So all in all, I'd say he's a character who has mysteries that we still need to uncover. Definitely. As you also said earlier, there are definitely some things about his past that we definitely can explore in a new game. But I don't think he's a bad character, like maybe like other AC characters. I can't come up with any specifics. Yeah, he had his moments, but at the same time, it's kind of just like maybe. Oh, I actually wanted to say that before. The ending of AC3 was a little here and there. Like, it wasn't like as epic as I had hoped.
Yeah.
Like, it's really just him finding Charles Lee, chasing him, like getting a piece of wood through his stomach, killing Charles, hiding the amulet, and that's Connor's story.
Yeah, it's very wrapped up, kind of there. It's just kind of like done. There you go. I mean, I love the scene with Connor and Charles in the bar where they just have that drink together. It's kind of like a mutual kind of like it's a good scene.
We're both like on the edge, and who of us is gonna die?
Yeah.
But when I think about it, maybe sequence 11, like the missions there, would have worked better as the final sequence. Like if they had just made it a little more sad and dramatic. I don't know the word for it, but it's very like light, the ending, compared to like Unity. Like Arno, like he's depressed like forever now with the loss of the love of his life. So yeah, it's definitely. I mean, he's a great character, and he's pretty badass as well. Also with the hair and everything. I'm not gonna lie about that. He's pretty badass.
Yeah. And
I can only imagine like what his master assassin outfit would look like. And he did have some pretty cool weaponry as well, the tomahawk and the, I think it was called the pivot bit, like he didn't later could use as a knife.
Oh yeah, that thing, yeah.
Yeah, so all in all, he's a great character, but there are definitely some parts of his life which are still shrouded, and we have yet to explore. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Right then. I want to thank everyone who has watched and listened to this first ever episode of the Memory Corridor, and I hope every single one of you enjoyed listening to me and James discuss this topic as much as we enjoyed discussing it. To stay up to date on everything the Memory Corridor and more things Assassin's Creed, like my Assassin's Creed photography, which I have named #Creedography, links to my Twitter and Instagram will be in the description below, where I post that stuff on and off, should you be interested in checking that out. Along with links to James' social media pages and YouTube channel, as I said in the beginning of the episode. And also, before we wrap this up, I just want to say a quick big thanks to Iraq the Goater, who goes by the name Makaisenbergler on social medias, for designing the banner and the intro of the video. And there will also be a link to his Twitter in the desk below. And again, it's only something I can recommend checking out, since he does make some pretty sweet and awesome Assassin's Creed art in addition to the intro banner and my channel GFX. And also, James, if you haven't checked that out, I can definitely recommend it. He does the graphic designing for the ones you came before as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, just to give everyone a quick idea of how often I'm going to release an episode, I'll say there's no set window for how often the show will be released. I think it's really going to depend on how busy I am with other things, such as school and other hobbies, and how time consuming it'll be to make and edit one specific episode. But I can more or less give you my word that at least one episode is going to be released monthly, and maybe more in between that. And if there will be a set release schedule in the future, I'll yet have to see, but until then, this is all I can say. And no matter what, future episodes are gonna be just as fun and as good as this one was to make and listen to, if not better. And I can already guarantee now that there are definitely gonna be some occasions where there's going to be a special edition episode, like in November and December. For example, I have something planned for Watch Dogs 2 and the Assassin's Creed movie. So yeah.
And also, if any of you have any feedback and or topic ideas that you would like to share with me, feel more than free to leave it in the comment section below, as it will probably go a long way in the process of making these episodes. Not only for myself, but possibly for you guys as well. Now, once again, thanks times infinity for watching and listening, everyone. I hope to see you again for future episodes, and until those come out, stay safe, everyone, and keep this amazing community what it is. And finally, also, huge thanks to Mr. James, aka LazerzZ, for guest starring on the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And I also hope to see you again on future episodes. It was an absolute blast having you, and thanks once again. And that pretty much sums it up for this episode of the Memory Corridor. Stay safe and active, everyone. See you later, Assassins. Peace.